Has trust been broken in your marriage? There are many reasons why trust could be broken, but today I want to focus on rebuilding trust after an affair. Recovering from an affair is a sensitive and complex process. The affair has to be processed and understood. The mindsets of both spouses need to be assessed and corrected, and forgiveness has to be decided upon. But forgiving someone and choosing to stay together doesn't mean that trust has been rebuilt. That's an entirely different process. Today, I want to talk to the unfaithful one about rebuilding trust after cheating. I'll tell you 5 things that you need to do to help your spouse trust you again. Hi, I'm Kelly Case, licensed counselor and marriage coach. I take marriages that are broken and unfulfilling and make them first class so you can love life together. This channel is for people who want a happier home but just don't know how to get it. Be sure to click the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I upload anything new. Trust has to be rebuilt. Unfaithful spouse, this is your new mission. Regain trust. This is going to take time, a lot of time. So you're going to need to pack your patience for this trip. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. The goal is that you are making continual progress. And sometimes progress might feel like 3 steps forward and 1 step back. That's normal. But progress doesn't look like being stuck. As long as you're not stuck, you'll get there, slowly but surely. After the trauma that your spouse has experienced from your cheating, he or she is naturally going to be hypervigilant. See, their mind is trying to keep them from being hurt again. The process can be really frustrating for both spouses. You may feel like you're under a microscope, and you are. Your spouse can feel exhausted trying to deal with the pain and the grief and trying to determine whether or not you're a safe person to be with. All of this is natural. Unfaithful one, you have not only changed the way your spouse looks at you, but you have greatly affected the way they look at their self. You have injured their self-esteem. They wonder, am I lovable? Am I attractive? Am I worthy? Am I valuable? Your actions have left them feeling like a piece of trash that could easily be discarded. So this healing process involves helping your spouse to have self-esteem again. They can't be the spouse that they need to be in this marriage as long as they feel so poorly inside. You have to be committed to winning back the trust of your spouse, helping them to trust that they are worthy of being loved and to trust that you will keep them safe from being hurt again. You have to do whatever it takes to get it back, and it won't be a quick process. You have to be willing to do the work. If you just want to put it in the past and forget about it, your marriage won't survive. Listen, 1 minute ago was the past. So I hate it when people complain that someone is bringing up the past. Unless we're talking about something that is literally happening as we speak, or talking about something that hasn't happened yet, we're bringing up the past. The last thing I said is now the past. So here's the deal. We don't just put things in the past that are greatly affecting our present. If you have forgiven something and it's no longer affecting you, then keep it in the past, by all means. But we don't put things in the past that are greatly affecting our present. We bring them out and we deal with them so that we can put them in the past eventually. So how do we rebuild trust? What does the process look like? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give it to you in 5 action steps for rebuilding trust in your marriage. Number 1, acknowledge the pain that you have caused and express genuine remorse about it. Whatever you do, don't defend, justify, or minimize your actions. You caused a great deal of injury to your spouse's self-esteem and to your marital relationship. Own it. Take responsibility for it. Be accountable and continually show remorse. Often, after months of walking the road to recover from an affair, you may get frustrated that everything isn't better yet. You'll get impatient. And you may start to say things like, you just need to get over it. Or, can't we move on yet? If you aren't the one feeling deeply wounded, this response is understandable. But it ain't over till it's over. You're not recovered until you're recovered. Don't rush the process, and don't start minimizing the impact when you get impatient. This is very important. Rushing things can actually undo all the progress that you've made so far. So your posture should forever and always be one of remorse and responsibility. Number 2, check in with your spouse regularly. Don't make them the one who has to always bring it up. They want to make sure that this is never forgotten. So they may have some fear that some time is going to go by and you'll feel comfortable and you'll think it's okay to do it again. So check in with them and take responsibility for making sure that the relationship is okay. You can say something like, hey, we haven't talked about the affair in a while, and I just want to see how you're doing. I love you, and I love us. And I feel like we're doing well, but I just want to make sure you're doing okay. What? Bring up the hurtful past out of the blue when everything's going fine? Yep. But why? Because your spouse will know that you truly love them and are truly concerned that they are okay, and that you haven't forgotten the pain that you caused, and that you don't want to do it again. Believe it or not, this is reassuring. Number 3, let your spouse process their pain. Give them permission to feel and to discuss. If they ever hope to move forward, they have to process what happened. Just listen, answer questions honestly, and reassure and comfort them. Give them the space they need to do this. It should get less and less over time. Number 4, be vulnerable. Vulnerability is opening yourself up in a way that could lead you to be emotionally hurt. I don't recommend doing this with just anyone, and I don't recommend doing this with an unsafe person, even if it's your spouse. But it is the only way to find true connection with another human being. So if you want to rebuild trust with your spouse, and if they're a safe person, be vulnerable with them. If you don't, they won't trust you. We don't trust people who aren't vulnerable. We don't trust people who are guarded, closed off, or fake. In order to be truly connected and have the intimacy that you need to affair-proof your marriage and to trust each other, you have to be vulnerable. This is essential to trust building. Lastly, be a trustworthy person of good character whenever possible. You have to be a person of your word all the time. If you want to prove your trustworthiness, it doesn't only relate to adultery. You have to prove that you are not a liar in general. So if you say that you're going to be home at 5 and you get home at 5:30, that can set you back in your trust building process. It isn't a big deal in most relationships, but in a relationship where there has been an affair, it's everything. You have to make sure that your spouse feels that you are a safe person to be with. This doesn't just apply to cheating now. If even small things show a lack of character on your part, your spouse may doubt everything about who you are. So when you say that you're going to do something, do it. When you say you'll be home at a certain time or call at a certain time, do it. If you can't be there at that time, call or text. Communication is key. You can't just let things slide now. Be consistent over a long period of time, showing that you are a trustworthy and reliable person in general. And for goodness sake, don't ever lie or keep secrets. This could set you back to square one. My hope for you is that your marriage can actually be stronger than it was prior to the affair. That you can learn from your mistakes, rebuild trust, and create a marriage of steel that no one can ever break again. I've helped people do this. It's possible. To learn more about how to recover from an affair and build a marriage that can last a lifetime, visit me at firstclassmarriage.com and check out our Vows Restored program. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so that more people can see this valuable content.